The interesting thing about decision paralysis is that it feels like you're being careful and smart. I mean, that's what is going through your mind. Yeah, I am careful, I am smart. I was chatting with a friend the other day, just talking about life and career transitions. I mean, just normal girl gist. She's trying to make some new career moves and changes, more like starting from scratch and stepping into unknown territories. It would require her to put herself out there, reach out to recruiters, maybe post on LinkedIn and those two cool things, right? We had a few back and forth, but here's what I got from that conversation. She felt some type of way about being out there. In short, she was fixated on people's opinions and cared too much about what would people say. The sad part about this is that my friend is not an outlier. She's just one of the thousands and thousands of people who feel this exact way, caring too much about other people's opinions. I was a victim of this myself. I lived like that for years, so I know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. There is some sort of correlation between caring about people's opinion and your ability or inability to make money and truly build wealth. I'll break this video into 3 parts. First will be to help you understand that no one cares. And the latter part of this video will provide insights on 4 implications of caring too much and those implications on your life and finances and how those things could keep you poor. And then I will talk about how to break free from this cycle to build real wealth. The fact is this, and this is a tough pill to swallow, but hear me out. Nobody cares about your successes in life or your successes with money. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say nobody cares. You probably have a couple loved ones here and there. I mean, family and a few select friends who genuinely love and care about you. But this interesting idea that you have in your head that everyone wants you to win in life is far, and I mean very, very far from the truth. So let's just be real for a second. Most of the time, people don't care nearly as much as you think they do. And I don't mean that in a harsh, cynical way. It's just how humans are wired. Everyone has their own stuff going on. Their insecurities, their deadlines, distractions, relationships, their worries. Most folks are too wrapped up in their own movie to pay much attention to yours. That thing that you said that you keep replaying in your head, they probably forgot about it 5 minutes later. That awkward moment that felt huge to you, for them, it was just a passing blip in their day. So humans have short attention spans and they have very long to-do lists. You're the main character in your own story, but in everyone else's, you're a background character at best. Which brings me to the first impact of caring about what people think: risk aversion and playing it safe. This one is huge, and honestly, it quietly ruins a lot of people's chances to build real wealth. Sometimes, caring too much about others' opinions means you're afraid to fail publicly. Before I eventually pulled the trigger on starting this channel, I was this close to pulling out. Anything, and I mean anything and everything, was running through my mind. What if no one subscribes? What if no one listens to me? What if I fail? What if my friends and family come across my channel and they laugh at me? I tell you, it was all in my head. But guess what? Whether I started or not, the years would have passed by anyways, and I would have continued to live in deep regrets if I didn't take the bold step. I may not be where I want to be with this channel, but I keep showing up every Sunday. And that in itself is success to me. You won't start a business, you won't switch careers, you won't invest in something unconventional, or because you're thinking, what if I look stupid? Studies show that people who never invest or start something of their own end up falling behind because they rely on earned income, which doesn't compound the way investments do or ownership does. Playing it too safe keeps you in this bubble of trading your time for money forever. The truth is, failure is temporary, but playing it safe out of fear of judgment, that can quietly cost you decades and decades of potential growth. Next thing you will always find yourself doing if you care too much about people's opinions is actually chasing status over substance. When you start making money decisions based on how they look instead of how they work, you start optimizing for status symbols instead of financial stability. I mean, you could take the high-paying job you secretly hate because it sounds impressive on paper, or you buy a luxury car to look successful, even though it eats half of your paycheck. On the outside, it looks like you're doing great, right? But behind the scenes, your savings are thin and your stress is sky high. Real wealth, as a matter of fact, isn't flashy. It is freedom. It is your ability to walk away, to choose, to not owe anyone anything. When you stop trying to look rich and you start focusing on being financially secure, that's when money actually starts working for you instead of the other way around. And then comes decision paralysis. If you're always worried about what will people think, 3 things are bound to happen, and I'll tell you this. First is that you spend too much time analyzing your decisions. Second is that you always second guess yourself and you will never be good enough. Third is that you constantly compare yourself to other people. And while you're doing these 3 things, guess what? Time, which happens to be your most valuable wealth building asset, keeps ticking away. The interesting thing about decision paralysis is that it feels like you're being careful and smart. I mean, that's what is going through your mind. Yeah, I am careful, I am smart. But really, check it. You're just stuck in your own head. When you care too much about what others might think, you end up overanalyzing every move. You compare, you research, you second guess until the moment passes and you've done absolutely nothing. The tough truth is this: you can't think your way into success. Let me say that again. You can't think your way into success. You can only act your way there. You don't learn by sitting on the sidelines. You learn by doing, by failing a little. Then you adjust, you fail again, and then you try again. Every day you wait for the perfect plan, time keeps moving, opportunities fade away, and someone else who wasn't overthinking that thing just went for it. Progress loves motion, even if that motion is messy. The fourth implication of being a people pleaser is that you're constantly in this external validation loops, even if your bank account is running on empty. Have you ever said yes to a girl's trip or that expensive dinner, even if it meant you incurring the cost on your credit card, just because you didn't want to feel like you are the broke one in the group? External validation is a dangerous trap because it keeps you chasing approval instead of freedom. When your worth is tied to how others see you, you spend to impress. You could say yes to things that drain you, and you measure success by comparison instead of progress. That constant need to please and prove yourself can leave you exhausted or financially stuck because your decisions are driven by ego, not strategy. And what you need to understand is that whenever you say yes to something, you're indirectly saying no to something else. That's how it works. So, yes to that vacation, but does that mean a no to building your emergency funds? The truth is, building wealth is deeply unglamorous at first. Like, forget what you see on social media. It's saying no when others say yes. It's you choosing patience over applause. And that's hard if you're constantly tuned into what other people might think. All right, let's get real and practical about this. If caring too much about what people think has been holding you back financially, I'll quickly run through a couple of mindset shifts and habits that can rewire the way you approach wealth. Number 1 is to redefine success on your own terms. Ask yourself this question: what do I actually want? Not what looks good to others. Most people chase things that signal success because it's easier than defining it for themselves. Yeah, that's the truth. But when you know what your version of freedom looks like, whether it's owning a home or having time freedom or not just stressing about bills, other people's opinions kind of lose their power on you. Get comfortable with being underestimated. It's okay if people don't get what you're doing. You might look broke while you're stacking cash. You might seem boring while you're building your foundation. The most financially solid people that I know don't look rich. They just feel calm, like regular people. Let them assume whatever they want. Their confusion doesn't pay your bills. The third thing you should do is to track your net worth and not your lifestyle. Numbers don't lie, and they don't care what people think. Every time you feel the urge to spend for appearances, open your spreadsheet or your app and look at your net worth. Seeing progress there is way more satisfying than a temporary dopamine hit from a purchase. Next is for you to use no as a financial tool. Saying no is your leverage. No to expensive social plans you can't afford. No to buying into trends. No to comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 10. Every no builds room for the yes that matters, which is your long-term security. In addition to that, surround yourself with people who don't care either. This one is huge. If your circle equates worth to status, you will always feel pressured to perform. Find people who respect financial discipline, who talk about frugality, or just quiet ambition. It's easier to grow wealth when the people around you have normalized long-term thinking. And finally, you should remind yourself that no one is actually watching. No one is tallying your outfits. No one is looking at your car or your house or how big your house is. Everyone is too caught up in their own insecurities. And the earlier you internalize that, the faster you move freely and financially smarter, if I do say so. So yes, people don't care as much as you think, but that's not a bad thing. It just means that you can relax a little, you can mess up, you can stumble, you can say the wrong thing, and life moves on for everyone. If you can relate to anything I said in this video, let me know in the comments below. If you got some value from the video, I'll be glad to hear that from you in the comment section as well. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share with your favorite people. Click the subscribe button so you don't miss other value-packed videos from me. See you in the next one. Bye.